our second segment, we're going to head back over to Oaklawn Park and take a look at the late pick 5 sequence there. Alexa, we have 4 stakes races in the pick 5. A couple of them are graded stakes races. So we've already taken care of one of the 5. Let's jump into the other 4 races and help the folks out, see if we can lead them into a winner for this pick 5 ticket. So race number 8 is an overnight handicap. It's called the Trevista. And they have such great purses over at Oaklawn Park. 145,000 up for grabs in this one. Mile and a 16th. We've got fillies and mares. And you and I were kind of looking at a couple of similar horses in here. Why don't you start us off? Who are the horses that we want to use in this first leg of the 5-team kind of parlay that we're playing? This is a pick 5.
Yes. Well, before I try to pronounce this horse's name, I want to congratulate Gino, who crushed a pick 5 last week. Coast to coast pick 5, another one he does often, and just absolutely crushed it. So good work on that.
And as we get into it, I will say the luck for me over the last couple of years, I was having a lot of close misses, but it all changed in November when we had the winner on this show that we gave out for about $5,000. And then it started to change for me. A lot of those horses that were running second now have gotten the job done. So let's see if we can keep that good energy, the good juju, and roll it right on over to this week. Set us up for race number 8.
All right, with Bruna Boyne. I think this might be how you pronounce that horse's name. Yeah. Number 2, Time From US has her getting second place behind the 5, which is going to be our other selection here. But, she's a tracker that can kind of sit off the pace and grind them down. Her early and late pace ratings are the same, which shows you how she's like a really consistent runner throughout the race. Her race back in October where she won at Keeneland is what I want to see from her this weekend. I think if she runs that on Sunday, I think she can win.
And if you're looking at the charts below, you can see the chicklets. The number 5 is towards the front, and then the number 5 is finishing towards the front. That's the other horse that we're going to be using in here, and that's Painter, who's just like a solid on paper, coming out of some strong races, shows speed, and can sit just off. And the jockey, Flavian Pratt, he in particular is so good with horses that are like this, where he has to make a decision. Do I want to be really aggressive or maybe sit off a little bit? It seems like he always makes the right call on when to go, when to sit. So we're in very capable hands there, Alexa. As we move to race number 9, this is the Honeybee. This is one of the races where we had, I guess, a slight difference of opinion. And this is what happens when you have 2 people building a ticket together. I know the horse to beat is the one, Muhima. I'm going to try to take some swings against her on my own ticket. But you know what? If she wins, I'm going to be alive on this ticket with you, right? Because we're using her here because you like her.
I do like Muhima. Like you said, heavy morning line favorite, rightfully so. This filly's undefeated in 3 starts, each time with added distance and improving speed figures. The most recent one was the grade 2 de Moselle at Aqueduct in December. So, she's fresh, and trainer Brad Cox is great at bringing them back off a layoff with a 24% win rate. He wins 29% of the time in graded stakes races. I think Muhima is definitely the one to beat, but you're not getting great odds. We'll also use the 6, Take Charge Milady, who's 4.5 to 1, is on a winning streak at Oaklawn with 2 wins this year already over the course. That last out was in a stakes race where she won by over 5 lengths with an impressive speed figure. So to be fair, there were only 5 horses in the field that day, but still dueled and passed horses for a driving win.
Other horses that we have on the ticket, 2 Necessity, really interesting long shot. Both the 2 and the 3 are 20 to 1 on the morning line. We have them both on our ticket because they've both shown really nice progression. And I'm very interested in the type of trip they could sit in this race, where they won't be right on the lead, but they should be in that next tier, right behind the leaders, and maybe getting the jump on some of the deeper closers. So I think the race could really set up very well for them. The 2 Necessity, the 3 Jenkin, and then towards the outside, I think is a wild card. 5G. Hopefully we're cashing this ticket for 5Gs, Alexa. This one was really impressive, going a mile on the dirt last time out. So we'll spread out in that race, a race that a lot of people might just single in on Muhima. We'll be looking for a price and looking for a little bit of value as we move to race number 10. This is the Razorback. This is a race for some of the older horses. So maybe some familiar names, some horses who you may have seen or heard over the last couple of years in big graded stakes races. Start us off here, Alexa. Who are we going to be using on the ticket?
Yeah, First Mission is one of those at 5 to 1 odds. Taking a bit of a step back, maybe in a grade 3. He spent most of last year running in grade 1 and grade 2 races. Most exciting and impressive race to date was when he won the grade 2 Ali Shiba at Churchill last May on the Oaks undercard, but has been off since August, but has multiple bullet workouts in preparation for today, and trainer Brad Cox wins 37% of the time when his horses are coming back after an over 6 month layoff. So he really knows how to have them tightened up and ready to perform after their breaks. And we'll also use the 8, Baddest Good Boy. Love that name. At 4.5 to 1, the most lightly raced horse in the field with only 2 starts. A late bloomer who really didn't begin his career until the last week of his 3-year-old year this past December, but he really came out firing. Not undefeated at 2 starts with seriously fast speed figures. He's got early speed and should also be able to stalk the pace a little bit and grind him down.
Kind of sounds like what they would call a horse for like a nickname at the barn, right? He's the baddest good boy out there, in the morning. He's just a bad good boy. He's a major player in there. The one that's a price that we're also going to throw in is the 6 full screen. What I like about him, he's the type of horse, he's a little inconsistent, but his ceiling is really high. So that's why he's going to offer you value. He can jump up and be capable of a very, very big effort. Full screen is in the mix. We'll go 3, 6, and 8. And then why don't you recap who we're going to be using in the Rebel, which is race number 11.
Yep, we'll use the 1 Coal Battle, that likely overlooked long shot, Sandman, the closer that I love, and Speed King, the speedster who may wire the field.
So 3 deep there, 1, 3, and 11. Hopefully we're 4 for 4 moving to race number 12 at Oaklawn. This is an Arkansas bred maiden special weight race. We're just going to go 2 deep in here to try to close things out, right, Alexa?
Yeah, we'll use the 2 Mayor at 4 to 1, who's a first-time starter for trainer Ron Marquette, who's been training really well at Oaklawn with some fast workouts.
Yeah, you get a live jockey, Flavian Pratt, to jump aboard. And then the 9, Tiz Marcus. His debut race was really good. He finished 3rd, and I think he can build off of that race. So 2 and 9 to close things out. We can take a look at the Pick 5 ticket. I believe it's a $90 play altogether. We don't have any singles in the sequence, and where we might be a little different than I think the betting public is in race number 9, where a lot of people might just single the 1. We have opportunities for prices, and sometimes you want to zig when everybody else wants to zag. Any final thoughts on the ticket before we go to break?
No final thoughts. Just make sure to scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen. You can get a free card for everything that we've been looking at here. So scan the QR code and use code DRFSGPPS.
All that great data at DRF.com. When we return from this quick break, we'll head on over to Turfway Park and talk about the John Battaglia Memorial.